Fade in the history of the American military, there are stories of courage, sacrifice, and determination, but few are as remarkable as the story of Cathay Williams. She was born into slavery. She lived during one of the most turbulent periods in American history, and against all odds, she became the first known African-American woman to serve in the United States Army. This is the extraordinary story of Cathay Williams. Born around 1844 in Independence, Missouri, Cathay entered a world that offered her little freedom and even fewer opportunities. Her mother was enslaved, and under the laws of the time, that meant Cathay was enslaved as well. Like millions of others trapped in slavery, she had no control over her future. But history was about to change. In 1861, the American Civil War erupted. The nation was divided. Brother fought against brother. And millions of enslaved people suddenly found themselves caught in the middle of a conflict that would reshape the country forever. As Union forces moved through the South, many enslaved people escaped or were liberated. Cathay Williams was among them. By 1864, Union troops had gained control of large parts of the region. Cathay was freed from slavery and soon found herself working alongside the Union Army. Like many newly freed African Americans, she served as a cook, laundress, and support worker. Although she was not officially a soldier, she traveled with military units and witnessed the realities of war firsthand. She saw the sacrifices, she saw the dangers, and she saw opportunities that had never existed before. When the Civil War ended in 1865, the United States faced a new challenge. The nation needed soldiers to protect Western territories and maintain order across vast regions of the country. To meet this need, Congress created several African-American military regiments. These units would later become known as the Buffalo Soldiers. The Buffalo Soldiers played a crucial role in American history. They protected settlers, guarded transportation routes, and served on the western frontier. For many African-American men, military service offered stable pay, food, housing, and a chance for a better future. But there was one problem. Women were not allowed to enlist. Cathay Williams refused to let that stop her. In 1866, she made a decision that would change her life forever. She disguised herself as a man. Using the name William Cathay, she enlisted in the United States Army. At the time, military medical examinations were often brief and poorly conducted. This allowed Cathay to successfully join the Army without her true identity being discovered. With that, she became one of the most unlikely soldiers in American history. Imagine the pressure she faced every single day. Not only did she have to perform the duties expected of a soldier, but she also had to keep an enormous secret. One mistake could expose her. One careless moment could end her military career, and perhaps even place her in danger. Yet somehow, she managed to blend in. Cathay was assigned to the 38th U.S. Infantry Regiment, one of the Buffalo Soldier units. Life on the western frontier was difficult. The environment was harsh. Supplies were limited. Long marches were common. Soldiers faced extreme weather, disease, and exhausting physical demands. For Cathay, these challenges were even greater. Military life pushed every soldier to their limits. But despite the hardships, she continued serving. Day after day, month after month, keeping her identity hidden. However, maintaining the deception became increasingly difficult. Cathay often struggled with illness. Records suggest she suffered from frequent health problems during her service. Repeated hospital visits began attracting attention. Doctors and officers started noticing inconsistencies. Eventually, the truth could no longer remain hidden. In 1868, after approximately 2 years of service, Cathay's secret was discovered. The Army discharged her from service. Officially, her military career was over. For many people, that might have been the end of the story. But Cathay Williams had already accomplished something extraordinary. She had achieved what countless others believed was impossible. A former enslaved woman had successfully enlisted and served in the United States Army. At a time when both her race and gender created enormous barriers, she had broken through them all. After leaving the military, Cathay attempted to build a new life. Like many veterans of the era, she faced significant challenges. Employment opportunities were limited. Racial discrimination remained widespread. Health problems continued to affect her daily life. Despite her service to the country, life after the Army was far from easy. Years later, she applied for a military pension. In her application, she described her service and the health issues she experienced. Unfortunately, her request was denied. Officials argued that her disabilities were not directly connected to her military duties. Without financial support, Cathay struggled during her later years. Many details about her final years remain unclear. Historians believe she died sometime after the 1890s. For decades, her story was largely forgotten. History books rarely mentioned her name. Few Americans knew of her remarkable journey. But over time, researchers uncovered military records and personal accounts that brought her story back into the light. Today, Cathay Williams is recognized as a pioneer. She challenged social expectations. She challenged military rules. And she challenged the limitations that society tried to place upon her. Her story is not simply about military service. It is about determination. It is about courage. And it is about refusing to accept the boundaries imposed by others. The Buffalo Soldiers became legendary figures in American history. Their contributions helped shape the American West. Among them stood a woman whose presence was hidden from nearly everyone around her. A woman who risked everything to serve. A woman who refused to let society decide what she could or could not become. Cathay Williams may have entered the Army under a false name, but her legacy is very real. More than a century later, her story continues to inspire people around the world. It reminds us that some of history's greatest heroes are not always the most famous. Sometimes, they are the people who quietly challenge the rules, overcome impossible obstacles, and leave behind a legacy that refuses to be forgotten. This was the story of Cathay Williams, the woman soldier who defied the rules. Fade out.